Hello students and welcome to Malhotra's IAS Academy. I am Surbhi Sardana and today we are going to discuss a very important topic which is UNFPA'S State of World Population Report of 2023. This report is released on an annual basis. ये report हर साल release की जाती है and this time this was the cover of this report, 8 billion lives, infinite possibilities, the case for rights and choices. So they say that the population of the entire world is estimated to be around 8 billion, that is 8 billion lives as you can see here in the background. So here we will be discussing what have been the estimates of UNFPA's State of World Population Report with regards to India. Are these estimates true or in consonance with the census that India would release very soon? So yes, let's look at what are the observations. So first of all, the biggest observation that has come here is, which was expected also, that this report has provided the first official confirmation of something that had been anticipated for months for now, that India's population is expected to surpass that of China by the middle of this year at the latest. Right now what we have available is the estimates of our population. We know the latest census that was to be started in 2021, that has not been conducted. So yes, based on some estimates of sexual health, about about the total fertility rate, UNFPA has said that India's population will surpass, or it is expected to surpass, that of China by the middle of this year at the latest. So India is going to become the most populous country according to this United Nations agency. So the report also says that India's population continues to grow at the current pace. If it continues to grow or to rise at the current pace, then a shade below 1% every year, then it would double. The population of India would double from what it is presently in the next 75 years. So that is another observation. See, these data, these statistics with respect to India and the countries we are close to, for example China, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So these statistics, they are very important for your prelims point of view, because UPSC will not directly ask you about which report is released by which agency. No, those times are over. Now they'll ask you about what are the estimates of a certain report, which is especially released on an annual basis, secondly, which is very important. So what are the demographic indicators that this report has given us? Let's talk about India and let's talk about China and the world. So if you talk about India, the estimated population that they have projected is 1428.6 million, and for China it is less than India, 1425.7 million. If you talk about the world, the entire population of the world is 8,045 million. That becomes your 8 billion population. So yes, what is the population in 15 to 64 years of age group that we call your the young population or the working population, from where your demographic dividend term comes out. So in the 15 to 64 years of age, we have 68% people in India, and China has 69%, while the entire world has 65% people, mostly coming from India and China. On the older side, that is 65 plus population, India has 7% people, China has 14%, and the entire world has 10% of people which are 65 plus. If you talk about total fertility rate, see, this is going to be very important. It can be seen directly in your prelims exam as part of a question statement or directly. So total fertility rate is around 2.0. That has been estimated for India. For China it is very less, 1.2, and for the world it is more, 2.3 is the total fertility rate for the world. So as you can see that India's total fertility rate is less than the average of the world. And what is the life expectancy? Life expectancy of India is 72.5 years. For China it is very high, very good, that is 79 years, and for the world it is 73.5 years. So India has less life expectancy as compared to the average life expectancy of the world. So population by age group, this is something that we saw here as well. 15 to 64 years, you have 68%, 0 to 14, 25%, and above 65, that is your 7%, and total fertility rate for India per woman has been estimated to be around 2. So now first of all, let's discuss what is UNFPA, United Nations Fund for Population. What is this agency? It is a specialized agency of United Nations. What is its mandate? इसका काम क्या होता है? And what does it do? So first of all, the full form of UNFPA is United Nations Population Fund. It does not condense to UNFPA. What happened is that its name was changed a few years ago, a few decades ago, and since then this term UNFPA has been used for United Nations Population Fund. So first of all, it is a subsidiary organ of United Nations General Assembly and works as a sexual and reproductive health agency of United Nations. So whatever you talk about sexual and reproductive health, that directly impacts your population. So whatever impacts population, sexual and reproductive health, that is the mandate of this particular agency, and its mandate is decided by ECOSOC, United Nations Economic and Social Council. That is what establishes its mandate. Thirdly, it was established as a trust fund. It was not established as a separate organization. It was established as a trust fund in 1967 and began its operations in 1969. It works directly to tackle sustainable development goals. There are 3 sustainable development goals for which this organization has been working. The first one is your sustainable development goal 3, which is with regards to health. The second one is with regards to education, sustainable development goal 4, and the third one is gender equality, that is sustainable development goal 5. So UNFPA is not supported by the UN budget. Whatever donations or contributions it gets from anywhere, that is how it works upon. So yes, that was about the basics of your United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. Now, it has also projected that the growth rate, population growth in both India and China, the growth rate is coming down. As you can see, the total fertility rate, it is less than replacement rate. Replacement rate जो होता है आपका 2.1 माना जाता है, उससे कम है दोनों countries में. For India, it is 2.0. For China, it is just 1.2. So now, like forthcoming generations, they'll not be able to even, match up to their population levels. The population will go down. The growth rate of population, that is decreasing, but in numbers as of now the population is increasing. Number of persons is increasing, but the growth rate of population is decreasing for both the countries, that is India and China. Now talking about fertility rate, we've seen this here as well, that for the world the average is 2.3 and India's total fertility rate is estimated at 2. Now when we talk about generally, this is important for your mains point of view, developed regions of the world. If you talk about developed countries, they almost have a total fertility rate of around 1.5. Less developed regions, they have a total fertility rate of 2.4. That means their population is increasing. Developed regions have a decreasing population, so they have less than 2.1 of fertility rate at 1.5. And less developed countries or least developed countries, they have a very high total fertility rate. That means women are producing or reproducing at a very high rate. So that is 3.9. This is according to UNFPA. Now talking about life expectancy, see, life expectancy of India is very less, is considerably less as compared to the rest of the world and China as well. Now we'll talk about life expectancy when it comes to male and female. So yes, the average life expectancy for an Indian male was projected at 71 and 74 for females. Now average life expectancy for males around the world is exactly at 71, that is what we have for India also. But for females, it is comparatively higher in the rest of the world, or the average life expectancy for females in the world, that is at 76, but for India it is just at 74. So yes, for developed regions, obviously your life expectancy will be higher. In developed regions, you have clean air, clean water, clean food, and the living standards are very good. So for developed regions, the average life expectancy for males was at 77 and 83 for females. So that is much higher than what average life expectancy is coming for the world. And for less developed regions, obviously these statistics would be lower, that is 70 for males and 74 for females, and that goes down to 63 and 68 for least developed nations. Now since you see that life expectancy of females in India is less than world average, so that takes us to our next point, that is gender rights. They say that 18% of Indian women, they have reported that in the past 12 months their partner had committed some violence on them. Violence by an intimate partner in the last 12 months was reported by 18% of women, while 66% of women had decision making on sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights in India. A little over 80% of women had some say in decision making regarding their own healthcare. So that is a good statistics, good number that is coming out there. Now, when we talk about population growth concentrations, they say that more than half of the projected increase in global population up to 2050 will be concentrated in just 8 countries. These 8 countries are very important for you because India is a part of it, Pakistan is a part of it, China is not a part of it. So, the 8 countries where more than half of the projected increase in population by 2050 is estimated is in these countries: Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, all your African nations, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines and the United Republic of Tanzania. So, apart from your Philippines and India, all of these are African nations and India is part of these top 8 countries where most of the population growth would be seen. Now, see, here we come to a very important turning point. Whenever this is state of world's population, this is an annual report that is released by UNFPA. Now, the catch here is that yes, this report has come up, but how trustworthy is this data? How true or how right or accurate is this data that they have given us? So, basically your UNFPA does not carry out any census or anything of that matter. What they consult is the population data portal. The population data portal, that is their ultimate data source and tracker for population and development data. It combines not the number of people, they do not count the number of people. What they actually take into consideration is newest population data on topics like sexual and reproductive health, reproductive rights, family planning, maternal health, gender-based violence gathered from multiple sources. And now the catch here is that your recent census has not been even started. The last census that was conducted in India was in 2011. The next census was to be conducted in 2021, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that census could not be conducted. So, where is all this data coming from and can we rely on this data? So, here are some numbers that we'll see released by National Registrar General of India. This is the most reliable figure for India's population. It comes from the census that happens every 10 years. The last census took place in 2011 and the 2021 exercise had to be postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and yet it has not been started, and at least till middle of this year it won't be started. After that we have elections, so we are not sure when will this census be started again. So 2011 census had put India's population at 1210 million. That is 121.08 crore. In July 2020, that is a few years ago, the Census Office, they had released population projections for the year 2012 to 2036 based on the total fertility rate, based on the current population of the country. Your Census Office, they released that what would be India's population by 2036. And these are the latest official estimates that India has with regards to country's population. So, they say that by 2036, this would be India's population, that is your around 1522 million. 1522 million would be the country's population, and this was your population in 2011, that is 1210 million. From here it will rise to 1522 million by 2036. So, this is the official data. Rest, whatever data is coming up, that is just estimated data. Now, according to these projections, India's population in 2023, if you look at 2023, so here somewhere we are, and India's population in 2023 was expected to be only 1388 million. That is very much less than your UNFPA'S projection. They have estimated India's population at around, we just saw in the first slide. Yes, this is what the UNFPA State of World's Population Annual Report is giving us. They say that 1428.6 million is India's population right now, or in 2023 it will rise to this. But according to official data that has been given to us by the Census Office, the actual population of our country in 2023 is just 1388 million. It is not at a higher range, so it is much lower than what has been estimated by UNFPA. Now, moving on to the census, let's learn about it. What is it? How is it conducted? So, first of all, it is an enumeration of population. It is not based on estimation, it is based upon counting. Person to person, door to door counting, that is how it is based upon. So, census is enumeration of population of country, and it is being conducted at an interval of 10 years. The first census, it started under British Viceroy Lord Mayo in 1872. Lord Mayo, he brought a a series of forward-looking measures, and one of them was census. So Lord Mayo, the British Viceroy, he started the first census in 1872, and it helped in framing policies for the government for organizing government programs to uplift areas of improvements in the community. The first synchronous census in India was conducted in 1881, that is 10 years later. The responsibility of conducting the census is with Ministry of Home Affairs. There is this office of Registrar General and Census Commissioner that lies under Ministry of Home Affairs. So this is a very sought after question. This is a very favorite question of UPSC. So Ministry of Home Affairs, that is responsible for the census, and which is the office, that is Office of Registrar General and Census Commissioner. In the census, data is collected on demographic and various socio-economic parameters, not just counting of population but socio-economic parameters also. This line is very important for your exam. What are the socio-economic parameters? Education, SC/STs, religion, language, marriage, fertility, disability, occupation and migration of the individual. So all these factors, they are taken into account, and separate parts of census are released, or at least that information is collected, even if that is not made open to the people. So what is the significance of census? This is the last part of our discussion. Why do we count numbers? Why do we count people? Why do we want to know that which person is coming from which religion, which caste, what is the educational background, how much education has somebody attained? So what is the significance of conducting census? Basically, see, we follow a policy in our country which is tilted somewhat towards socialism. So we have a lot of government programs running. So government programs to be decided that how much budget allocation has to happen, which resources are to be provided to which areas or which population of the country. That information, that data has to come from official sources. We need to have some data which tells us how much poor people are there, how many illiterate people are there, which people are coming from which types of religions, and so on. So to make our government programs more efficient, census data or any official data which talks about population of the country, that is needed. Secondly, when it comes to businesses, they want to look for investments. They want to see which country has a lot of population which can serve as potential market for their operations. So businesses and investors, they decide their policies with regards to countries and investments based on census data, based upon what is the kind of population, what is the number of people there, and are these people ready to consume the products that they are producing. So your economy, your society, your government programs, your policy making depends upon the data coming from census from time to time. So that's why it is very much significant, and any delay in the census actually delays all these benefits that could be coming to a country. Now let's try this question, a very simple question. It has been asked by UPSC in Civil Services Preliminary Examination back in 2011. So India is regarded as a country with demographic dividend. This is due to just decide what can be the possible causes. So India is regarded as a country with demographic dividend. Demographic dividend means there are a lot of people who are young and which can actually serve the country or can be profitable or advantageous to the country. So it's high population in the age group of below 15 years. Obviously people below 15 years, they're not working. If they're working, they're counted as child labor. So demographic dividend cannot come from people that are below 15 years. It's high population in the age group of 15 to 64 years. This is the working age group of population. These are young people. Even if they're not working, they will be working in some time. So 15 to 64 years, that is your correct answer, but let's look at the other options as well. It's high population in the age group above 65 years. Above 65 years, in old age, people are not very, most of the people, if we talk about, they're not very efficient at work. So above 65 years, that is something we cannot talk about demographic dividend. It's high total population. That is something, that cannot be considered. That can be considered for other countries as well. So demographic dividend, because India has a lot of population, maximum population in fact, in 15 to 64 year age groups. Your answer becomes B here. So now stay tuned to our channel. This is all about today's discussion. Stay tuned. The exam is approaching. We are coming up with a lot of initiatives on our channel on a daily basis. So keep following it. If you haven't subscribed it yet, do that right now. It's high time. All the best for your preparation. Keep working hard.